Welcome. We have a new report out, Europe Stretched to the Limit, and this report assesses the challenges that the region faces. Europe's been in crisis for 7 years now, since 2010, and it faces a multitude of crises over the next 5 years. The region's got to deal with migration, it's got to deal with the risk of Brexit, it's got to deal with the risk of Greece leaving the euro area, it faces economic challenges, an over-dependence on central banks, a productivity slump, questions about democracy, and of course, behind all of this, a security challenge associated with a revisionist Russia. Now, I'll be talking about all of these issues with my colleagues. Our core view is that Europe keeps muddling through. Now, muddle through has been better than most people expected over the past 7 years. It's kept the show on the road. It doesn't get you the best outcome, but it keeps the region together. That's what we're expecting over the next 5 years. I'll talk to some of my colleagues now. Joan, we've argued that Greece is more likely to exit the Eurozone than not. Why is that? What's our forecast?
It's really all about the politics, and behind that, the economic failure of Greece's experiment in the Eurozone since 2001, which has arguably been a disaster for Greece. Last year there was a deal. It seemed that some of the problems were resolved. But politically, we've seen once again that it's virtually impossible for any Greek government to implement the kind of policies being required under the bailout programme. So we think that Grexit is more likely than not over the medium term by 2020. What are the consequences of that? We think that Europe now is in a stronger position financially, economically, to withstand the contagion that might ensue from Greek exit from the Eurozone, particularly the banking sector. There's much less exposure now to risk from Grexit, but politically we see Europe being in a much weaker position now, even than it was in 2012, to withstand the consequences. And we think actually that the political consequences could be extremely grave given all the other challenges that the region is facing at the moment. And in particular, a Grexit would call into question the status of the Eurozone, whether it is a permanent monetary union or just a club from which members can exit at any time.